Good morning. I want to know, are you ready? Yes! And let's affirm that with an I am ready. I am ready. Let's hit it. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Yes, I am ready. Good Lord, I am ready. Oh yes, I am ready to walk that heavenly road. Oh yes, I am ready. Good Lord, I am ready. Oh yes, I am ready to walk that heavenly road with you. Lord, Lord, Lord. Lord, Lord, Lord. Lord, Lord, Lord. Lord, Lord. That road is lined with passion, and it's paved with pleasure, and it's packed down with laughter and joy. It sees a new tomorrow, away from sorrow, onto a bright new shore. Yes, I am ready, good Lord, I am ready. Oh yes, I am ready to walk that heavenly road. Oh yes, I am ready, good Lord, I am ready. Oh yes, I am ready to walk that heavenly road with you. Lord, Lord, Lord. Lord, Lord, Lord. Lord, Lord, Lord. And I will walk with my head high out in the sunshine up to that love that never ends. Great God inside me, my friends beside me. Oh Lord, you got me through every turn and every bend. Oh yes, I am ready, good Lord, I am ready. Oh yes, I am ready to walk that heavenly road. Oh yes, I am ready, good Lord, I am ready. Oh yes, I am ready to walk that heavenly road with you. Lord, Lord, Lord. Lord, Lord. You got your walking shoes on? So are you ready? I am ready. Sing it. I am ready. Oh yes. I am ready for love. I am ready for joy. I am ready for hope. I am ready for a new vision. I am ready for a new minister. Are you ready for love? I am ready. Are you really ready for love? Are you ready for love? Oh, yes. Becky Rain, bringing us in. You got it. Amen. Yes, I'm ready.
Oh, there we are. Let's just take that sweet energy, that lively energy, that wake us up energy this morning down into our heart center. And if you don't mind, please stand. Take someone's hand if you're comfortable doing so as we sing our opening hymn, Surely the Presence.
God's grace. Surely indeed, the presence of God is here because you are here. The presence of God is here because your hearts are open. And in this now moment, we allow ourselves to become fully present in the here, in the now, feeling the energy of love and divine oneness flowing through the hands between us and the hearts before and behind us. This is the day that God has made because we are here. We rejoice. We fill our hearts with joy and allow it to exude and spread through this room, through this building, through this town, through the state beyond. There is no time, there is no place in God, and there is no distance in that divine love and energy that is God. And so it is. Amen. You may be seated.
Great-grandmothers and the dreams of all my great-grandfathers and the way to rise beyond the pain or live in me. In the land of I am more than I have been. I am more than I will be. I am all that I am. In the land of I am more than I have been. I am more than I will be. I am all that I am. In the land of I am more than I have been. I am more than I will be. I am all that I am. And the songs of all my great-grandmothers and the dreams of all my great-grandfathers and the way to rise beyond the pain or live in me. In the land of I am more than I have been. I am more than I will be. I am all that I am. In the land of I am more than I have been. I am more than I will be. I am all that always at home. Always at home. Always at home. Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Unity on the River. My name is Jackie Woodside, and I will be facilitating services with you today as we greet and welcome this new era of Unity on the River, and we welcome Reverend Ogun Holder. As you all well know, we are a church of celebration, inspiration, transformation, oneness, and joy. Take those core values into your heart center, feel them, feel the vibration of them, and know that is who we are, that is who you are, as we say our mission and vision together. The mission of Unity on the River: we are a vibrant spiritual community that celebrates the presence in all and awakens humanity to its divinity. And our vision statement, centered in love, we joyously co-create a world of oneness, peace, and harmony. There we have it. So this is a wonderful, just exciting, epic day to begin the new year, begin this new phase of our ministry, and to welcome our new minister all in the same day. And it is, I can't say, I don't know that there's anyone here happier to welcome this man than me. And you all who've been around for these last 8 months know exactly what that means. But really, Ogun, as you well know, this is an amazing ministry. You, given who you are and how well known you are in the movement, probably could have had your pick of just about any ministry to go to. And I know you weren't exactly looking, but there was something about us, our music, our energy, our fellowship, that you felt very drawn to be here. And we open our hearts to you, not to try to replicate the past, certainly honoring today Reverend Shipley Allenson and our love for her and what she has built here in the 17 years of her ministry. But we're not interested in replicating the past. We are interested in rising in spiritual excellence with you as our spiritual leader. So welcome. I don't know why, but that made me all teary. What are we doing next? Okay, yeah, we did that. So, gosh, that's so funny. It must be the menopause thing. Is that what it is, you ladies who are over 55?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, some of you are saying yes, some of you are saying no. All right, I'll figure it out for myself. So we would like at this time to welcome anyone who's celebrating with us for the first time on this epic day of Unity on the River. If there's anyone who's here for the first time or who'd like to be seen and recognized for the first time today, if you would just gently raise your hand and someone from our welcome team will come and bring you a flower. Good morning. There's someone over here. Anyone else who's celebrating? Yes, go ahead. It's okay. Raise your hand. Who's celebrating with us for the first time? Over here. Anybody else? Great. Over here. And, really, we just ask that we can recognize you so that we can say hello and welcome you. Someone from our welcome team will greet you after services and just take you over to the welcome table where they can answer any questions and also give you an audio CD about Unity and hear a little bit more about the Unity movement. And we mostly just want you to know that we welcome all paths to God and that your presence here certainly enriches us today. And we thank you for spending your time on Sunday and being here with us in services. We also want to welcome those who are on live stream. Last Sunday, I was on live stream. I was in Tennessee and had a blast being there with some of you. Rosemary, you were there also on live stream last week. So for those of you who travel for business or for family commitments, please know if you are away from us on a Sunday, go to unityontheriver.org, and you will be able to watch our services via live stream. So thank you for that opportunity, Jay, and for being in service today. And Tulani DiMarce, it was lovely to watch you last Sunday and the service that you delivered for us. All right, Carol Walrazak. Welcoming Reverend Carol Walrazak, who also has just been such a mainstay during this transition time. Yeah, really, you. Your spiritual consciousness, you are an ordained interfaith minister, and just your spiritual consciousness, your prayer consciousness, you're holding the container through the chaplaincy program. Can you tell we're all just relieved today? There's this big sigh of relief, but Carol, really, I don't want to pass this baton over to you without saying a big thank you for holding the space of this ministry and doing the announcements.
Thank you. I wasn't expecting that. It has been just a pleasure, and I'm going to continue with Reverend Ogun. We're going to transition some more, right? That's right.
Amen.
Okay. We just have one announcement early service, and it's to introduce our Artist of the Month, Becca Donahue. Becca, let's see who you are. Come on up front with me. want to tell you a little bit about Becca. First of all, all good. No. She works with our children and loves our children. She has actually done photography most of her life. She is a student at Salem State University. She did her first exhibit here 7 years ago. And now she's back with us today, and you can see it's called A Collection of People. So we hope that you'll take a look in hospitality. I notice everything is hanging quite well now. There was a little bit of a challenge this morning. And also, there will be a special reception. This did not make it into the announcements, but it will next week. And it's an art reception with Becca. It's Sunday, the 18th of January from 1:30 to 3:30 in hospitality. So we hope you'll join her and us there. Thanks, Becca.
Thank you, Carol, and thank you, Becca. Such a great job with our children's program. My son loves her. This is the time in our service that we greet one another with love. This gives us the opportunity to feel related. Hold on, y'all are moving already. To feel related and get connected. This is the time for us to begin opening our hearts to receive the spiritual message. In our congregation, as you know, we greet one another in love by saying, Namaste, the divine in me sees and acknowledges the divine in you, or simply, I see you. So I greet you this morning with love. Namaste.
No.
Comic relief time.
I really want to thank Brian. He's been doing like 1,000 jobs through the transition. He's been awesome. Really brought a laugh, and this is great. Oh, Mendoza. See, Mendoza, we love you.
I feel like crying.
You should.
Menopause. Where is she? There she is. I've done this song for what, 10 years?
I love it.
And we love it every time.
I went to Shipley one time and said, I have this great song. And it was this song, and it just kind of got in the back burner. And about a year later, she came to me and she said, I have this song that you should learn. I think that was it.
I wonder where she came up with that.
But you'd think I would have memorized the lyrics all, but
It's okay.
there's a lot of words.
It's a lot of them.
It's very wordy.
Very wordy, yeah.
It's like a Bob Dylan song.
When I was a boy each week, Sundays we would go to church and pay attention to the new priest. He would read the holy word and consecrate the holy bread, and everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. When I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two, and Jesus made the water wine. And I remember feeling sad that miracles don't happen still. But now I can't keep track, 'cause everything's a miracle. Everything, everything's a miracle. Wine from water is not so small, but an even better magic trick, 'cause anything is here at all. So the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, but find them where there isn't one. When holy water was rare at best, it barely wet my fingertips. Now I have to hold my breath like I'm swimming in a sea of it. Used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down, but now I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. Take it, Keith. Read a questioning child's face and say it's not a testament. That'd be very hard to say. See another new morning come, say it's not a sacrament. I tell you that it can't be done. This morning outside I stood, saw a little red-winged bird shining like the burning bush and singing like a scripture verse. Made me want to bow my head. I remember when church let out, but how things have changed since then, 'cause everything is holy now. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down, but now I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. All together, here we go. Everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. A couple more times. Everything is holy now. Everything is holy now.
Brian Dozer.
Do a little soft shoe while he gets back there to turn me on. Thank you. One of my absolute favorite songs, as I'm sure it is for everyone. So thank you, Brian, for that. Take a deep whiff. Do you smell that? It's the smell of newness. It's a new year. We got a new theme. You got a new minister. He's wearing a new suit. Still a little, I haven't quite broken it in yet, you know how that goes. So I'm working on that. So if you see me doing some awkward, this all it is about. Hi. We got some new people here today as well. So a special welcome to them all for being here. As you might have realized, I'm kind of new too, so we'll navigate today together. It's all good. We're in this together. But I'm really excited about this new theme that we're looking at, rising in spiritual excellence. It's that idea that despite all the energy of new, sometimes we get so caught up in the energy of new, and new, and new, and new, that often we overlook the things that make us who we are. You know, this is the idea of what transcendence means. Transcendence doesn't mean doing away with the old in order to embrace the new. What transcendence means is embracing the new, bringing with you that from the old which still serves. And if there's one thing in unity that will always serve us, is our 5 basic principles. And that's what these first few Sundays are going to be about, taking another deeper look at Unity's 5 basic principles, which we have up here on these banners. And the word basic is a bit of a misnomer. When we hear the word basic, it's kind of come to mean a lot of times, or our understanding of it is easy, simple. Not so much. Basic, I want you to understand it as the basis, the fundamentals, the things that stand under everything, the base of. As we know from building a house, if you don't have a good foundation, it doesn't matter what's on top of it. You know, when we look at the Gospels, Jesus had a great parable about that. But the man who built his house in sand and the man who built his house in stone, and the great house in the sand got washed away because the foundation wasn't there. So what better way, I think, to start off this new year and this new theme with looking at these foundational principles, these foundational beliefs that make Unity who they are, that make us who we are, that make us show up as the God that we are. So today I'm going to look at the first 2, and then we'll work our way through. And the first one is going to be interesting because it's about God. So I'm going to talk to you about something that really can't be talked about. There's an old saying from the Tao Te Ching, that Chinese philosophy that has influenced Buddhism and Hinduism, and it says, "He who knows does not speak, and he who speaks does not know." So this is going to be an interesting next 20 minutes. Because I either don't know what I'm talking about, or are we going to just sit here in silence? Right? But we remember that let's remember that the words, the descriptions, the things we say are like the doorknob on the door. They're just the doorknob to open the door to understanding. The understanding comes beyond the words. Okay? That's all to say, when I say things like, don't believe them because I said so. Well, Reverend Ogun said, you know, the thing that scares me the most is when I run into somebody who have not seen for a while, or they saw me speak a while back, and they say something like, you know, there was that one time you said, and I went, oh God, what did I say? Because half the time they're misquoting me, and then the other half of the time, I've moved on from what I've said, or have a deeper understanding of what I said earlier. Okay? This is also a little bit of a warning. Next year at this time, when we do this again, and I say what I say next year, some of you are going to say, but last year you said. But this is what it means to be in spiritual excellence. To get the door open a little bit, and then a little bit wider. Perhaps take one footstep into understanding, walking all the way through. And then when you walk into the doorway, you know what you find? A whole other door. It's just about opening doors and going deeper and deeper within. So I want to invite you, as you hear these next few talks, to embrace what the Buddhists call shoshin, the beginner's mind. This idea that everything you may have known before, and some of you have probably been on this new thought journey longer than I've been alive. You know, sometimes when I think about that, I get into a feeling of almost inadequacy about who am I to stand here and share? Some of these folks have been doing this longer than I've been alive. And at the same time, we all come to places of deeper understanding along the journey, where we are, when we are. So beginner's mind. That idea of getting back to that place of first, remember when you first learned something new? Like there was something out there and somebody explained to you and you're like, "Ah, I get it now." Like the gears in your head turn and it was like the light went off if you're a visual person, or if you're an auditory person like me, there was suddenly a big band playing in the background, and cymbals crashing, like, I get it, I understand it. Yeah, beginner's mind. So kind of take yourself into that place with that attitude, beginner's mind. As we look at these first two principles, the first one, God is absolute good, everywhere present. There is no word that brings more baggage with it than the word God. Let's just get that out there in the open right now. God is a tricky word. Remember what I said earlier, words don't fully describe. That word itself doesn't fully describe this I can't even call it idea, whatever. It doesn't fully explain it. But this is why I love unity. Unity has brought me to a place of understanding that this thing we call God, all that is, the oneness, the one mind, the fill in the blank, spirit, whatever name you choose to use. It is both, I'm going to use two words to describe it, principle and presence. Principle and presence. What do I mean by principle? A principle is this unchanging idea that stands under everything. Okay? A principle also is something that we can't see or grasp. We can only experience. We experience gravity, but show me where it is. Point to gravity. We can't point to it. We can't, but we experience it. And this is the idea of God. God as principle, the creative principle of the entire universe. The thing, and again, the no thing. I love that I chose my first thought to probably be the hardest one. I'll get this out the way, it's all downhill from here. So there's that. So the thing and yet the no thing, the paradox that is God. Those are some grandiose ideas, if you will, some things that make you scratch your head. But here we are in unity, and unity again has this specific view, this specific idea of God as principle. And some people have trouble with that because they may have had an experience of a God that was more personal. Okay? A God that they could pray to. We can talk about prayer next week. A God that understood them, a God that helped them, a God that saved them, a God that did this for them, a God that they would ask help from, a God that brings them comfort, a God that they could feel comforted by. And sometimes in unity, when we hear about this idea of God as principle and not personal, some of us have a little trouble with that. So here's the workaround, if you will. Yes, God is principle. God is not technically personal. God is not a person. God does not feel. God does not feel angry, happy, sad, jealous. You hear that verse, we are created in the image and likeness of God, but more often than not, we do the reverse. We create God in our image. And we say, therefore, God must be. And just as we would seek help from others, we want to seek help from God. But there's no God out there to from by, if that made any sense at all. Okay? But here's the thing. While God is still that principle, that creative force, that energy, all that stands under what is, the wisdom, the love, everything, we experience God primarily through each other. It's kind of like light. Think of light. We don't see light, but we experience light because of what it reflects off of. That's how we know that things are bright. It's bright out. How we know, because stuff is reflected. When we're in a room that is dark and there's no light, there's nothing reflecting back to us to tell us. That's how we know light isn't there. Same thing with God. Same thing with that principle. We experience it because it's reflecting off of each other. It's reflecting off the experiences of our lives. And in that way, we can have a personal experience of that principle because each of us are unique individuals, which leads me right into that second principle. The Christ Spirit is in each and every one of us. And in unity, we use that term Christ Spirit to indicate beyond the physical idea of who we are, beyond the egoic idea of who we are, beyond the human personality idea of who we are. There's something much deeper and much more fundamental. And that is God. That is that principle. This principle cannot be located in time or space. This principle is not bound by anything. Sometimes we hear it kind of offhandedly as there is no spot where God is not. What it's really saying is that beyond this physical ideal of us, there is just God. And that's how God becomes a presence as well. A presence and yet an absence. And why do I say absence? Because when we take away everything that, for better or for worse, defines us, what are we left with? When we take away all the fear, when we take away the greed, when we take away the ways we have learned to be in this world based on who we are when we were this big, what's left? Conversely, when we take away the sheer happiness and euphoria, when we take away our successes, when we take away everything, what's left? In the absence of all, there's the presence of God. And in the presence of all is God. If you're not thoroughly confused yet, I applaud you. But this is the thing about this. This is the thing about using words to describe that which cannot be described. This is the thing about using songs to get us into that feeling about that which really can't be felt. Why? Because feelings, like everything else, is something we experience in the human part of us. You know, if you read the book of Genesis, it talks about there's that creation story, right? Which, by the way, didn't happen like that. Just throwing that out there, you know, just gonna shoehorn that in. Yeah, it didn't. It's a beautiful allegory, a story to describe that creative process. Okay, Unity has a great class about the creative process. We're going to do it sometime. Speaking of classes, squirrel. Speaking of classes, I got a couple classes coming up that I really want to encourage you to sign up for. Life of Prayer is going to be starting in 2 weeks, and then a little bit later, Metaphysics. And these are two classes that truly, truly, truly get us to a place of deeply understanding these fundamentals of unity and what we're all about. We'll talk a little more about them, but just make a mental note. Just make a mental note. If this is the year that we rise in spiritual excellence, that means that this is the year where first we go deeper. Okay? And rise is an interesting word. Rise implies elevation. But I don't want you to think of elevated. I want you to think of expanding. And expanding goes in all directions. Higher, lower, deeper, farther. But expanded in spiritual excellence didn't give me a good acronym, so I had to use RISE. Again, limitations of words. The limitations of words. So we do what we can. We do what we can. Sometimes it helps to talk about God and talk about what God is not. God is not an other. God is not an other. In order to be an other, there has to be a duality. There has to be a here or there. And we as humans, this is how we relate to the world, in dualities. Okay? And it makes sense. It makes sense. You know, this is an evolutionary thing. I am over here, saber-toothed tiger's over there. Let's not be in the same place at the same time. One of us will not survive, and it's probably not me. So the duality thing makes sense. But when you think of duality itself is an illusion. Okay? Perfect example, hot and cold. Are they really two different things? No. Hot and cold are simply different points on this whole spectrum of what we call temperature. Okay? What point does hot end and cold begin? There is no point. It's all along the same spectrum. What's hot to you may not be hot to me. This was definitely my experience growing up when my mother would use the sink to wash dishes, and she'd do the washing and walk, and I'd come right afterwards, and I'd turn on the water just the way she had it, and like my skin would be scalded off. Somehow she had hands that could withstand, 300-degree temperature water. I don't know what it was, but I didn't have that. Okay, so what was I guess mild to her was scalding to me. Okay, it's all relative. There really is no duality. You know, I'm Ogun, this is Jackie, and we're thinking two different people. You know, I'm male, she's female, I'm black, she's white. Apparently she's menopausal now. I can pretty much guarantee that'll never happen to me. So we're thinking, yeah, two different people. There's a duality here. Yet, are we not on the same spectrum called life? Are we not in the same experience called God? Yeah, different points on the same spectrum, but this is what oneness means. There's another term we throw around for God, oneness. Oneness does not mean sameness. Thank God. We don't need a lot of me running around. If everyone was me, it would not end well. Trust me on this. Trust me on this. So oneness isn't sameness. Okay? I'm very grateful for the uniqueness that we all are. But what oneness means is that we're all at our core, at the fundamental basis of who we are, beyond the personality experience, beyond the human thoughts, fears, desires, wants, needs, hopes, successes, failures, beyond all that, we are on the same spectrum, sitting in that principle called God. And again, there is no in God. Okay? There's no location. Someday I'll get it too. But this is what it means. This is what it's all about. Today we're going to do an experience called the letter from God. Normally it's called the letter to God. In the past people have called it the letter to God. But I said there's no to God. There's no to. But I'm okay with the word from. Why from? Because simply, if indeed this Christ Spirit that is in each of us, and again, in is one of those location words that gives the idea or the illusion that it's buried somewhere. You know, think of the word in more as this is who we fundamentally are. The Christ Spirit, the principle that is God, is who we fundamentally are. And at the same time, just as God is paradox, we are paradox. Same time we're these human beings running around. Okay? Learning and making our way in this world. What would happen? What would happen? What What would happen if we were to live truly every moment less from that human idea of us, which is not bad. I'm not calling it bad. If we lived less from the fear of the human side of us, and the concerns, and the buying into the illusion that we're not one. What if we lived less from that and lived more from the fundamental idea that we are that principle of God? What would happen to us? This is why I believe we are here. Not that we're here for any purpose other than what we choose. That's a whole other talk. But when people ask, what is the meaning of life? Why are we here? What is this all about? This is what I think it's all about. This is what I think it's all about. Rediscovering, remembering, to reconnect with our fundamental principle of God. That is who we are. And these are the, told you, basic doesn't mean simple or easy, because that's a lot to get. That's a lot to get when life shows up in the very myriad, bizarre ways that it does. When life shows up and there's disappointments and there's heartaches and there's failures and there's loss and there's grief. When life shows up like that, which it does for each and every one of us, sometimes we forget and it's hard to remember. We ask ourselves, where is God in this? There is no place where God isn't, because God is that principle. And loss, death, grief are all parts of life, just as birth and newness and joy. I won't be new for much longer. I won't be new for much longer. I give it a couple weeks. And they were like, is that him again? I'll only be new to the new people, so if you want to keep me new, go away and then come back like 6 months from now. Then say, please, no, don't do that. As it was coming out of my mouth, I said, don't say it, don't. But that happens. So today we're going to do an experience called Letter from God. We're going to go into our meditation in a little bit, and I'm going to invite you into a deep listening experience. Listening beyond what your thoughts and your ears are going to tell you. Listening beyond what your beliefs about life, negative or positive, are telling you. Listening beyond what you know. Into that place where just perhaps for a moment you can touch that principle, that fundamental principle of who you are. What would that say to you if it could talk? What would it say to you if it were be able to communicate in words? It could be just one word. It could be a sentence. It could be a declaration, an intention for this new year. It could be a 3-page memo if you want. Or it could be a blank page staring back at you, because this is beyond words. And there's just maybe a feeling. Perhaps you can describe that feeling. Perhaps you can't. So in your bulletins, there's paper and an envelope. If you need something to write with, we're going to sing a song. Choir's going to sing in a second, and just raise your hand if you need a pen. And I'm assuming there's some ushers who will get you a pen in a second. But I want us to get all the materials together so that we have them, so that when we go into this meditation experience, you're truly not distracted anymore by these things. So again, if you need a pen or something to write with, simply raise your hands, and someone will bring you something in a moment. And while that's happening, I'm going to invite the musicians to take us in. Yes.
They didn't get one. We can also pass it.
Okay. Yeah, if you need paper and envelope as well. So as they're coming around to pass things out, listen to the words of this song. God is all there is. God is all there will ever be. That idea that the principle that we are calling God, that some of you may call spirit, some of you may call oneness, some of you may call love, some of you may call all that is, some of you may call Brahman, whatever you want to call it. The name doesn't matter because it is beyond names. But it's simply this idea that it is also beyond time. I think we need a few more pens around. There's no before, there is no after. We always want to think, again, in that duality mind. So just get beyond the duality for a minute. And also realize that this God that there is, that there always ever was, ever will be, is the fundamental essence of who you are. Beyond your thoughts, beyond your beliefs, beyond your fears.
We're running off more copies.
So if you just need a pen, only if you need a pen, raise your hand. So these are folks who just need pens or pencils. So just the pens and pencil folks with your hands up. It's pens and pencils. Take it away, Maura.
My wings were heavy, I could not fly, haunted by dreams that were meant to come true. Love was there, but I could not see it till the voice of salvation came shining through you, and you said, God is all there is. God is all there will ever be. God is all there is. God is all there will ever be. God is all there is. God is all there will ever be. God is all there is. God is all there will ever be.
So I want to invite you to, if possible, just clear your laps of the books. Just simply hold in your hand that pen, that paper. Allow your feet to be planted, both feet on the floor, supported by that chair. Sit relaxed, but with a straight back. If you're comfortable, please close your eyes and simply breathe. No faster, no slower, just breathe. And allow your mind to focus on that breath. Just follow the air as it comes in, as it pauses, as it leaves, pauses again. Follow the breath. Allow the breath to be the thing that anchors you in this present moment. You might be distracted by thoughts of things that happened before, things yet to be done, or what's for lunch. It's okay. This The mind is doing what the mind does. It's what it's designed to do. So when you find a thought that might distract you, maybe the notes of the piano, maybe my voice, just simply notice it for the briefest of seconds and return your attention back to the breath. Let's just breathe. Now imagine it's not with your lungs that you breathe, but with your hearts. Your heart is that symbolic spiritual center of who you are. It is only a symbol. But imagine that this now is expanding and contracting and radiating. Breathe into this space. Breathe from this space. Allow yourselves to fall deeper into that heart space, into that now moment of no before, no after, just where the breath is taking you. It is in this place of absolute stillness that we may touch that fundamental principle, that God that is us. That we may truly experience the oneness of the universe. As we take this into a period of silence, simply continue to breathe into it. And allow yourself to become aware of what it may have for you. A feeling, a message, just maybe a pure stillness, a pure nothingness. Just allow yourself to sit in that silence. Breath. Heart. And should you become aware of something beyond the thoughts, something emanating from that silence, that stillness within, an awareness of what the fundamental principle of God that you are would have the human of you know now. Take the time to write it down. Don't force anything. Just be. There are no wrong answers here. There's only the right experience for you. This exercise is simply an opportunity to be still. Be still with the essence of who you are. When you've completed your write-in, place it in the envelope and write your name and address on the front of the envelope. And we will collect those from you and mail them back to you. And they will arrive at the perfect time that you need a reminder from the essence of who you are. And if perchance today there was no clear message or awareness, mail that blank sheet of paper to yourself. When you open that blank sheet of paper, let it serve as a reminder that that fundamental principle of God that is you is beyond anything that you're experiencing at that time. That sometimes words are not necessary. In fact, most times, words are not necessary, which makes my profession that much more intriguing. But this is an opportunity to hear from yourself. We like to tell ourselves a lot of things, but we don't often listen to ourselves. Next week, we will delve further into these fundamental principles. We're going to talk about prayer, we're going to talk about meditation, and we're going to talk about the silence and the oneness some more. So I invite you all to return next week. Let us begin this journey of expansion into our spiritual excellence so that we can continue to evolve into the fullness of God that we are.
Your wings are heavy, if you cannot fly, haunted by dreams that were meant to come true. God is there. You just have to feel it. Let the voice of salvation come shining through you when you say God is all there is. God is all there will ever be. God is all there is. God is all there will ever be. God is all there is. God is all there will ever be. God is all there is. God is all there will ever be.
And in that energy that God is, we receive the prayers of this prayer box, knowing that they've been given with faithful hearts and faithful minds, and it is with that loving energy that we receive them. We know that all prayer is heard and answered by the God that we are and the God that is. And I also know that today there are those hearts and minds here present, people in your lives that you want to bless with this loving energy. So may we now just go ahead and say those names together out loud. We affirm continued blessings on this ministry and on our minister past, Reverend Shipley, and our minister current, Reverend Ogun. May their families be blessed. May this ministry continue to be blessed with all the goodness that God is, and so it is. Oh, that was lovely. Let's just go ahead and acknowledge Reverend Ogun for his inspiration to us this morning. Thank you, Reverend Ogun. And we are going to be receiving our tithes and offerings in just a minute, but before we do so, we would like to let you know that we always, on every service on Sundays, have chaplains available for prayer for and with you. So if the chaplains would please be recognized, stand in these four corners. They're holding sacred space for us before service, during service, and then after services. If you've come here with any kind of a care or a concern or a joy or a celebration that you want to hold in prayer with any of these fine people, please do so. They will hold your prayer in confidence and confidentiality, so please feel free to see one of our chaplains. Thank you for your service today, chaplains. And let's say the blessing of our tithes and offerings together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
Hear it blowing through creation, Spirit burning in the skies. Let the hope of transformation fill our eyes. God of splendor, God of glory, you who light the stars above, all the heavens tell the story of your love. Spirit renewing the earth, renewing the hearts of all people. Burn in the weary souls, blow through the silent lips. Come now, awake us, Spirit of God. Spirit renewing the earth, renewing the hearts of a people. Burn in the weary souls, blow through the silent lips. Come now, awake us, Spirit of God.
And sweet Spirit, we feel the loving energy in this room. We feel the loving energy of these gifts. We know and affirm that these gifts are given with love, and it is with love that we receive them. And it is with love that we affirm that these gifts will go out and continue the work of this ministry and the work of your good hands and Holy Spirit. And so it is. Amen. Thanks, Jenna. Thanks, Carolyn. Carol Walrazek.
Okay, one announcement I'd like to give you that's not up there is that today we have a special cake welcoming Ogun, if you'd like to join us in hospitality. And you'll notice this lovely banner up here. It says, "Welcome home, welcome to your spiritual home, Reverend Ogun." Thank you, Jim McQuaid, for putting that up. Also, this coming Saturday, January 10th, is undecorating. So you'll note, I pointed out, every one of those snowflakes above you was lovingly put there by volunteers. All of the greenery, the lights, the Christmas trees, the decorations. And now it's time to take it all down. So it is Saturday, January 10th. Seth, would you just stand so they can see you? Just see Seth. What time is that, Seth?
It's 10 in the morning.
10 in the morning. Okay. All right. So that should work for all of our undecorators. People that don't mind climbing ladders, that would be great. Also, just to remind you, this is one of Ogun's classes. It's called Life of Prayer. It will be held Wednesdays here in the sanctuary, and those are the dates. It's 5 weeks. Also note that this is a requirement for chaplain training if you think that's something you'd like to do in April, and you'll hear more about that training later. Also, Ogun is offering Metaphysics 2 Part 1, and that will be held on Saturdays. The dates and the times are there. Also, everything is in your program. And Prosperity Plus 2. I'm going to ask Tom Pellini to stand so you'll see who he is. He's a wonderful teacher. And he will be teaching Prosperity Plus 2 right here in the sanctuary Mondays. So you can see this is a really happening place for taking classes. And in hospitality, there's a bulletin board with sign-ups. If you'd like to be a part of any one of these, just sign up with your phone number and your email address, and that's really helpful to us. Also, before we go into these gratitudes, I wanted to say that next Sunday there is a meet and greet, correct? Last I knew. That's the plan. So, You're going to be a huge part of that. Okay. So he will be here. It is after service. You can come with your questions and answers and just get more acquainted with Reverend Ogun at the meet and greet. Okay.
Great, thank you, Carol. So for any of you who had any New Year's resolutions about getting more involved, creating community, making a difference in the lives of other people, or being of service, this is the place for you to be. Seth Wallerzak is our Sacred Service Coordinator, and it takes many hearts and hands and capable minds to run this ministry and run this operation. So look inside you and see, is there some place that you're called in this new year to make a difference at Unity on the River? Look at all the places and the people that we're so grateful for, our music team, Sacred Service coordinators, PowerPoint, streaming technicians. You can see all that it takes. And then, of course, our chaplains, prayer team, and the Board of Trustees, I think is that next, and the Board of Trustees. If people on the Board of Trustees would please stand. So if you have any questions, or I'm also on the Board of Trustees for another 3 weeks, but who's counting? I didn't introduce that this morning, but I'm also on the board. So if you have any questions about our ministry, please feel free to see one of these lovely souls. I will miss you all. We are still accepting, thank you, Michelle, accepting applications for the Board of Trustees, but really this week is the last week. So I know a couple of you are feverishly getting your applications in. I think we have 2 or 3 openings on the Board of Trustees, so if you are called to serve in that glorious way of operations, please, you can see me, see Carol, see Seth, see John, and we will be happy to receive your application. Brian Dozer, Maura Lynch, was that offertory song? Did you write that?
Spirit of God, I didn't. Marty Haugen wrote
Oh,
that.
okay. That's
Thank
a
you for letting me give credit.
beautiful, beautiful offertory song. I love that. But not as much as I love Brian Dozer. Let's hear a little bit more music.
This is you, Shine. All right, pop it up. Don't be shy, gang. There we go. Woo!
Why should I fear man? You made the heavens. Why should I be afraid when you put the stars in place? Oh, why should I lose heart when I know how great you are? Why should I give up when your plans are full of love? In this world we will have trouble, but you have overcome the world, and you shine brighter than the brightest star. Your love is purer than the purest heart. You
Brian Dozer, the Unity Band, and the Unity Choir. Let's welcome in our youth and family ministries.
We are walking at the light of God. 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 We are walking, walking, we are walking, oh, we are walking at the light of God. We are walking, walking, we are walking, oh, we are walking at the light of God.
Good morning, everyone. As you can see, we were celebrating the beginning of the new year. Woohoo! We started our journey spiritually. We did. We started with the power of faith, and we lit a candle. We're going to do that every month, the first Sunday of the month, every power color. And then we did a white stone ceremony, so our children each have a name for their year. Like faith, love, understanding, patience, grace. And then we celebrated the new year big time, as you can see.
All right, are any children going to come and pray with Reverend Ogun and I? Please stand as we sing our peace song. From this day, knowing that from this day forward, we are rising in spiritual excellence.
The light of God surrounds us. We are the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. We are the love of God. The power of God protects us. We are the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. We are the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well, and we are richly blessed.